races in 3, 2, 1.
The largest and hottest library of 16-bit games plays on Sega Genesis, featuring Streets of Rage, the fighting game that'll knock your socks off, with 40 individually controllable attack moves, and a neighborhood crawling with punks, muggers, and urban slime. Streets of Rage, only on the 16-bit Genesis system from Sega.
Well, that's freaking great.
Full of punks. Street punks.
Hey everybody, welcome to Play Retro. This is Play Retro. Yeah, that's right. I'm one of your hosts, Scott Johnson, and when I fight in the streets, I try to walk back and to the side in the exact same way that I walk forward. It seems to work fine. Hey, where's the Hitler-looking guy in fishnets and a bra? I want to beat him like a boss, as he is a boss. So this should be okay. Also, who is this thing? What? Also, how is this thing playing music this good? That worked out great. My last line there. Perfect.
I love it. And you wrote it yourself, and that's what's the best part. And you still didn't know what the hell you wrote. No. And I'm your other host, Brian Dunaway, and I'm the other fighter, actually. And I'm ready to rage. Quit. No, wait, I'm back. I couldn't stop thinking about you. Let's bare knuckle our way through these mean 16 street of punks, wherever the hell this is, with the sweet, sweet street meat that we pick up off the ground, neat like a Pac-Man gobbling up some power-up dots, and using that energy for dispensing with the vigilante justice best doled out on rollerblades and with the fisticuffs. Hold up. Now, what? This is my jam. Hell yeah. Now let's go smash some buttons and save our friend. That's right.
There's a little bit at the end there. You're not going to read that?
Yeah, I wasn't sure about if I was going to read there or not. Okay, now let's go smash some buttons and save our friend. Oh, what's his face? From the first game.
From the first game, yeah. I was reading that thinking, was he going to read that? Was it offensive? Did
I wasn't
change?
sure. I was. Sometimes I add a little flavor text to the very end, and I just see how it goes. Just see how it goes.
I like
Usually Scott doesn't see my show notes when I'm reading these, but here we share them.
Yeah, here we look at them. That's how it works.
Yeah.
We're here to talk about some street meat as presented in Streets of Rage 1, 2, 3, and I'll even make a little mention of 4, which is not that old. It's only a few years old. But it's worth mentioning. We're going to talk all about it. Its origins, why it's a rad beat 'em up, maybe one of the best. And also, I have no idea how the Genesis was able to eke out that kind of music. I don't get it. I don't understand.
Yeah.
Like all these other games with all this terrible
one
music.
I like the best.
Oh, I know. I'm not going to be surprised because you kind of let it leak, and I think you're crazy.
Oh.
But we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Okay.
I know it isn't 3, and I know it isn't 2. I'll bet it's 1. Anyway, we'll talk about that in a minute.
We'll have to stay and see.
Hey, I don't have it here. I left it upstairs like a dumbass. The new SPs came in, the RG35XX SPs, the whatchamahoochies from the fine folks at Ambernick.
The Ambernicks.
That's right. There's Brian's. Look at that. He got the silver. I got
silver and gold.
I got the semi see-through smoky gray one. It's upstairs. I should go grab it, but I don't have time.
Oh, there was one thing that I grabbed after I ordered these. I'll have to send you a link to get one of these.
Oh, a little case. I like that.
Little case.
Yeah.
Not that you really need it. That you really need it, because that's what the whole point behind these things is, to be like the old Nintendo SPs, where you can just close it, stick it in your pocket, and get to go and see you got your little SD card slots there. You got 2, because you can put some extra ROMs on there if you want to. It's very nice and slick. It's kind of chunky, what you expect.
It is a little chunky.
Get your little reset power button. That's fine. Yep. It is powered by the USB-C, and you got an HDMI out. Yep. And of course, this comes with Wi-Fi. You also know some cool little buttons up the front, so you can do that. And on the inside is your D-pad and your 4 face buttons with your select and start. And then you got this option menu that you can kind of get out of stuff. And as you can tell, we're just running the standard OS that came with it, and all of the questionable ROMs.
Yeah, so let's talk about that for a second. So I absolutely adore the device so far. I think the hinge, and we were talking about how this really did quote unquote hinge on how good the hinge is. It's good. It's solid. It's good. It feels as good, really, or maybe better than my old SPs, which I still have one of them here somewhere.
Yeah. Watch this. See, yeah. It's even got this. Oh, you've gone too far. let us kick you back into
Yep,
place.
yep.
It's got little springy hinges. Pretty
Yeah,
good.
it's got a good feel to it. It feels nice and well made. The backlit screen's pretty good. I think my my regular RG35XX is a better screen overall, but I'll take it. Given the hinge, it's fine.
I'm predicting that people will probably replace this screen pretty early on. It's not the best. It's just okay. It's
it's all right.
It's what you'd expect.
It's all right for what it is, and it works fine. Lots of games on there. I didn't realize this thing played all the way up to Dreamcast. Maybe more. That's what they have in there though. And I was playing Virtua Tennis on there. Plays like a dream.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I loved that game back in the day. It was so much.
You know what I played?
So much.
I
fun.
saw that.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. I saw that, but I ended up playing. I don't know. Did we ever do Crazy Taxi?
Not yet.
Episode?
Not yet.
I didn't think so. Okay. So I was looking at that, and I went and played the Crazy Taxi that was on the Game Boy Advance. You know how we always talk about how great the Game Boy Advance is and the games are?
Yeah.
That one ain't.
No, it's very bad. Most there are a couple of
really bad.
There are a couple of driving games on that thing that are pretty good. If you don't count Mario Kart, which is always good, but there's a few on there that are okay. But most driving games on there, especially the ones that attempted to do 3D-ish stuff, real bad, terrible. Don't play those. Bad. Yeah, not go near those. However, I played the PlayStation 1 Colin McRae's Rally Race, whatever the hell that was called.
Those are so good.
It is such a good game. It holds the F up. It might be one of the best racing games ever released on at least that generation of consoles. Very, very good. So I've been playing the hell out of that. PlayStation 1 games work great. I got one question, though, Brian. All these games, both everything pixeled all the way up to the arcade stuff and up to Dreamcast, they all run really well. 60 frames or better. And the reason I know this is because up in the corner, there's a little frame counter the whole time. I can't figure out how to turn that off. I don't know how. How do you?
Okay, so let's see. There is a shortcut key to that. I think you hold the I think in game you hold the little special function button, that little one at the top. I think you hold it down, and then it's one of the face buttons. I want to say it's the Y or the X. I can't remember, but yeah, I'll help you through that.
But dig it up and figure it out. Okay. Well, anyway, and it's fine. It doesn't bother me or anything.
By default,
kind of annoying.
By default, you're right. I noticed that too. By default, that was the way it was set for mine too.
Yeah, and it is nice to know that these things are all running at really good clips, but for whatever reason, I don't need to know because I can tell. I can tell it's running well. Battery life seems good. Everything about it, I think it's rad. I think it's super rad. And here's my only complaint. I got two complaints. Yeah. One, you mentioned the questionable ROMs. That's always true because they always put a bunch of shit on there that there's no way any of that's legal. Yeah. But the main thing I noticed is that there are some on there that are useless. I'll give you an example. And I don't mean ones that just break or don't run. WarioWare Twisted was a game that required the motion pack to work. Yes. And it was a very popular GBA/SP game back in the day if you had the motion thing. And I think it may have been included in the cart. I don't remember if you had to buy a separate thing. I can't remember. But that game required motion. So you had to move left to right or up or down. It kind of had a gyros thing in it. What's it called?
Gyro sensor?
Something like that. Whatever those are called.
Gyrometer.
Whatever it is. It's in phones, and phones have it. I can't think of the damn name of the thing. But
gyrometer.
Sure. It's not in there, so there's no motion sensing. And so when you play this thing, gyroscope, that's the word I'm looking for. It doesn't work. That game's useless. It's pointless. Right. So why even include the ROM on there? It's so dumb. And they don't include WarioWare, the first WarioWare, which wouldn't need that at all. So why isn't that on there? So there's a lot of questions I have about why they included what they put in there. That being said, what you should do is you should do like whatever your ROM collection is that you have legally taken from the ROMs you own, right? And put it. You should be putting those on there anyway, which I'm going to do today sometime when all this is said and done. I'm going to go on the SD and swap out some stuff and get rid of some of this crap. There's some stuff in there I just don't care about, right? Like, really dumb, weird, like experimental arcade stuff that's all in Japanese and I don't understand any of it. But also I have this this feeling in the back of my head that we're going to end up hacking this. And I guess my question to you is, do we have any kind of word on that scene yet? Is anybody doing like a special OS or anything? No? Nothing.
Not that I've seen, but I can guarantee you somebody is working on something because they've done this with every other Ambernick. I'm sure somebody's porting over one of the already established ones because this is similar to other machines. So I wouldn't think it would be that hard. But so far, this has been. I will tell you this: Ambernick is getting better because the first Ambernicks we ordered, the ROMs were an absolute disaster.
Oh, they were terrible.
These were These were, maybe 80% there. Like you said, there's stuff missing. Like the game you were talking about, I can almost guarantee you anytime you're talking about gyroscope and that kind of stuff, typically somebody will hack the ROM and then they'll put a ROM hack. And then you can fix it, by putting up the new ROM. But this definitely seems like they just have a library of particular ROMs and they just stick them on there and, copy them and get on with life.
Well, apparently, so it says, according to GitHub, Garlic OS will work now. There is a Garlic OS fork.
Okay.
Let me see here.
I'm not surprised.
Bootable.
Like I said, this isn't that far from the other systems they have as far as hardware goes. So I wouldn't think it would be a big leap to be able to, interface with that hardware.
I really like Garlic OS. You know what I could test it with,
Garlic's
dude?
really nice.
I just thought of this. You know what I could do? I could
just put another card in there.
Yeah, I wonder if that would just boot.
We'll find out.
You know what? Hold on. I'm going to do this. I'm going to chat. Don't go anywhere. Brian, keep them entertained. I'm going to pause for a second.
All right.
And then I'm going to come back. Here's the thing. What's I going to say? I forgot.
He was going to try to put in the boot card into this machine.
Right. So right now mine's asleep. Oh, why is it? Oh.
Right. It maybe did.
Yeah, you know what I did?
So,
I screwed up, damn it. I thought I had the...
Yep.
So if you put a game to sleep, it works in the game. But if you do it in the menus...
Yes,
it doesn't sleep.
There's a firmware update for that. I haven't done the latest because you're right. I noticed the same thing. So the line's plugged up right now because I'd also forgotten I haven't upgraded yet. They just released a new one. Ooh, it looks good, doesn't it? Ooh,
it really does look good. Now, so here's my other one, and I can't try it now because it's dead. That was a waste. But anyway, if that was alive, I'll bet I could get this to work. If it boots to Garlic OS and uses those cards, I'll just dupe those cards, and I'm in Fat City. I'm all done. I got all my saves and everything on there.
I'll have to look. I'm not sure exactly because this is the same RG35XX modeling numbering, but I don't think it has the same hardware. I think it actually has a different processor in it.
It may,
because I think it's closer. I think it's closer to the Plus, if I'm not mistaken. So,
because according to the thing on GitHub, boot order, the bootloader will boot the first valid operating system it finds in the following order. Let's see, Ambernick Stock OS, 35XX Plus, 35XXH, 35XS SP, and 28XX. So I think it'll work.
Did you get the Plus? Did you get in the Plus? Didn't you give somebody one and you got the Plus? Is that what happened?
No, I got just another regular one for Nick, or gave him my old one, and then I got this kind of semi-see-through one because it was on sale.
Oh,
yeah,
I got you.
And I still love this thing. Okay. Freaking amazing.
It's awesome.
Yeah, these are, I'm going to go ahead and say, I don't know if it's controversial. I kind of said it before, but I think the screen is just better on here than it is on the flip up, but I guess you should expect that because it's a flip up. It's separate. There's wires up through there. It's a thinner display,
And have you increased the brightness? Because the brightness could be turned down, and also it could be the Garlic OS could also be doing some stuff too to make it look a little sharper. I'm not sure. I will have to compare the two.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just not getting any kind of leaking or bleeding on the lighting, which is the way I'm noticing this on the new one versus this one.
Gotcha.
Size wise, though, I think they're almost identical. Let's see.
Yeah, if you hold them, it's a little chunkier when you open, but it's smaller when you close it, and that's what you want.
Yeah, so there they are, side to side. Seems much larger, but if you close it, and you get a nice little closed unit, it's awesome. I really recommend this. And Brian he's way too humble about these sorts of things, but he sent me this as a surprise.
Yeah.
I didn't even know this was happening. I adore it.
Surprise,
I love it.
punk.
I slept with it last night. I'm not kidding. It was next to my pillow all night. And the
Mine
battery's
always
dead.
stays next to the bed.
Yeah, I should have charged it before the show. I just wasn't thinking. Gosh dang it!
That's all right. Well, we'll talk about it more next week. We get more time with it because I don't think you got it until you didn't get it until Wednesday, right?
Yeah, I just barely got it this week.
Something
so
like that. Yeah.
pretty early. And the battery life has been awesome while I'm playing it. But I guess if you leave it in sleep mode on the menus, like you said, there's a patch for it. But it will just eat battery. So, but that's not bad. That took almost, geez, what time is it? 2? That took almost 14 hours to just drain.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
And not to mention, this time around, they went with a screw type bottom. So if that battery, swells up or does something weird, I was pretty glad they did that, because since it's an early model for this type.
Oh yeah, because this thing you have to open the whole thing to get this battery out, don't you?
Yeah, you do, and it's a pain.
But
I've looked at some of the swapping the butts. It's not too bad, but it's just it's not one screw easy.
Yeah, if I, like I say, my only not complaint, my only worry is the screen's not as cool as maybe it could be. But we'll keep our eye on it and see what options are available to us as far as hacking and stuff, and we'll talk about them here on the show.
It's coming up and on the Discord.
But for now, we have this.
Shall we play a game?
All right, you guys, get your beat 'em ups out. It's time to play. It's time to get that Genesis
put your beat 'em ups up.
Yeah, put your beat 'em ups up. Get ready to punch the guy next to you. We're going to play Streets of Rage, and we're going to start with Streets of Rage 1 for the Genesis / Mega Drive. It sounded like this. Doesn't that sound like that? That song in the end?
Yeah. There's a reason.
Du hast. No, what was how'd that go? Well, anyway, it sounds a lot like that, but
I love that you would think it was Rammstein.
Du hast. Yeah, definitely not that. That's the soundtrack on these things. Listen to that. My experience with these games, all of them, and that includes like all the way up to 3 anyway, the 16-bit ones. The music sounds amazing, I think, because they put all the sound effort into music, because the sound or the voice samples and the battle sounds of like getting hit with a pipe or punched or whatever are really crunchy and not super high fidelity. So is that how that works when you're making a game like this? If you're going to like put all your audio assets into music, then you kind of lose something with the effects, I guess. I don't know.
That's actually a good observation. So yes, absolutely. This was they used every bit. I want to say this was a 2 megabyte cart. So you had different megabyte carts that you could have for the Sega Genesis Mega Drive. And I want to say this was the smallest one. I think it was only the 2 megabyte. Is that right? I think it is. So yeah, right. So if you have a whole bunch of really cool ass music and a bunch of really cool ass sprites, then you got to start making some cuts. And so the crunchy may be exactly that. Plus, also you're doing. It's the corner where you capture this audio too. I don't know if you played on the original. I played it on my original Sega Genesis Model 1.
Yeah.
And it sounded great through my HDMI adapter. I can't say who captured that, because, and the emulation can be wonky.
Yeah, a little bit. This one's hard to say. I don't know. But the music is amazing. The sound effects are kind of cheeseball, especially in the first one. The second game, they improved some of that stuff. But the only real complaint I have about the first game is it's a like 2-frame animation kind of character thing. And I wish there was a little more movement happening on screen. It's almost 8-bit in its animation quality, and I could never really get past that. But according to you, this is like the funnest one. You think this is the jam, right?
It's funny. You think maybe I didn't finish saying what I was saying online, probably because I wanted to save it for the show.
Yeah.
So the first one, each one of these has something that stands out. And I thought that I only liked Streets of Rage 2, which is the only one I really played back in the day. I think I maybe played the first one once or twice in the past. I probably thought the same thing. It's like, well, this isn't 2. And I was really impressed by the character designs of the bosses, the mini bosses along the way. Now, there's not nearly as many characters in this one because of memory limitations, but the characters you get to see, like the juggling clown and things, and like the pirates with the boomerang, those characters are so much freaking fun. The sprites are a little smaller in this one than in the second one, but something about it, something aesthetically about the character designs themselves really appeals to me. But you're right with the animation. It's a little bit like you said, it's glitchy. It's not nearly as smooth.
It's wonky and it's just not as, I don't know. It's fine for what, in its day, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Right. But this is the kind of game where you looked at it and went, yeah, this is why Nintendo's kind of winning this war, because this is ugly shit. And then you played 2 and you went, oh, all right, well, never mind. 2's got some lovely animation and detail and environments and And it doesn't look 8-bit anymore or whatever. But which is kind of hilarious because you would think this one you could port more easily to the Game Gear and the Master System and have them look good. But those are hard to look at, dude. That Game Gear game is a mess. I do not like the Game Gear version of these games.
As far as a port goes, I think the Game Gear and the Master System look pretty good, considering that it is really going to 8-bit. And one of the things that's hogging up a lot of space on this is all these city streets. They wanted to give you something that was immersive, and so you got all these, all these scenes are like areas like on the street, and, in hotels, and all this, subways and everything else. It's freaking nice. The thing that I didn't think about when I played Streets of Rage back in the day was how much they really brought a arcade sensibility of that, eye burning, huge amounts of pixels everywhere. I just didn't equate that. And so I kind of always assumed that Streets of Rage was an arcade game back in the day, and it had ported over to the console. But I was, of course, now that I've had many years of Streets of Rage, I'm like, oh yeah, that was just doing, arcade stuff at home. And it really appealed to me.
They wanted to do, they wanted to be a beat 'em up that you could look at and go, yeah, Streets of Rage holds up against Final Fight and not rude guys. What was that called? Oh, dude, bad dudes.
Rude dudes.
Bad dudes.
I like rude dudes.
Rude dudes. And I think it held its own really well. Again, I didn't play the first one very much back then. I think I may have touched it at a kiosk in a Walmart or a GameStop, not GameStop, but Software Etc. or something at the time. But I never really got a chance to play much of it. And so by the time I was like, I think I'll buy one of these, I think 2 was out, and I was like, well, why would I mess with 1? I'm not even going to bother.
Why would you mess with 1?
Yeah.
I mean, why? Because you wouldn't want to, because there's a lot of things in the first one that were improved upon for the second one. Like, there's no special, there's no power-ups here. Like, you don't really have a special power move, which I thought was baked into all of them. Not here. What you have instead is you can, so little backstory. You're 3 cops, Axel, Blaze, and Adam, and you're not happy with how the city is being run. It's being overrun by punks and Mr. X and the syndicate, and so you're a bunch of vigilante cops on your way. And so you can choose the nuclear option when you're losing. So like if there's a group around you, because that's what this game is all about. It's about gang fights where you're one guy picking up stuff like pipes and fighting your way out of gangs of people who are gathering around you. You can call in the nuclear option, which is to call in a cop car who comes out with a bazooka of some sort and shoots in a missile into your little area, and apparently you're impervious to it. But it knocks down everybody, bosses, bad guys, punks, all those same pixel looking guys are down,
which is cool. The other thing about the first game though is that the variety of enemies that you fought here. I've got this running on here. Can you hear it? Hold on.
Palette swap after palette swaps. Like, I fought this guy. No, he's wearing green now.
There we go. I like the big guy. I like the big, huge guy. He's my favorite to play with. I forgot his name.
You talking? Are you on 2? Are you on 2 then?
On 2, yeah.
Yeah. Two's he's pretty tough. Yeah, I like him. He's not in the first one though. Everybody in the first one, we just got 3 fairly average fighters, Axel, Blaze, or Adam. And say goodbye to Adam because you won't see him for too much longer.
No,
after the first one, he makes a visit back later. But who'd you play as?
I played
the first one. Do you
mostly Axel.
The first one?
The Axel guy is usually my go-to on the first one. I played a bit of that this week.
I was pretty boring for some reason. Wherever I play a martial arts game, there's always one guy that looks like he's the martial arts guy, right? And Axel to me looked like he was the martial arts guy, and so I was like, I always picked him, even though Blaze is fun. And Adam, I just didn't have any love for, so that's probably the reason why I didn't make it to the second one. But some people did. Boy.
Yeah, some people like him a lot.
Adam fans.
You know what I like about about Axel Stone in the future? I don't know if you've played 4 at all, dude. But look at this business.
I didn't play 4 at all.
You got to see this where he's at now. I'll put it in the Discord. But look at the mustache on this fella. I mean, this is.
Oh, is he got the mustache? Let's take a look here. Oh
Mustache
my
and
gosh,
beard.
Axel, he is.
That's him in 4, man. He's a beast.
What is his beard doing though? It's like it's not all the way to the edge of his chin. Maybe
Oh,
I can't tell.
It's working overtime. It's trying its hardest.
Why am I even looking? Yeah, I mean, look at those muscles.
Yeah, there's another shot of him, more of a painting, but he's a middle-aged dude now. He's not your young street tough anymore, looking for street punks.
But he's still wearing. He's wearing 90s. He's still stuck in the 90s though. He's still wearing all the 90s gear. He's got his flannel jacket tied around his waist.
Yep.
He's got some kind of knockoff Nike Airs of some sort.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, he doesn't just change for you or anyone like us.
No.
Right? He's got to do his own thing.
I love it.
I love it too.
I love that.
Here's also, I found a GIF of his original form. Here you go, chat. That was him.
While you're
one.
showing that to everybody, I will say this. I usually liked, and one of the reasons why I usually pick the martial arts that looks like the guy, because typically his go-to move is melee punching, which are usually faster. So usually it's an easier time getting through games that way. And they typically would have, like, the female character would usually have long kicks, so they could get her to spread her, kick her leg up so you could see up her skirt.
Yeah,
I don't know why they did it, but it was true. So you could
I know why. I have a very good idea why they did that.
Yeah, I know why too. And so, and then you usually had another guy, and the other guy was he usually had some kind of special reason. I couldn't quite figure out what his special reason for being, and I guess they couldn't figure it out either because they got rid of him in the second one. I didn't really feel like Adam was that far away from Axel. Matter of fact, they all play pretty similar. And another thing too that I really appreciated with the first one, it's such a solid game. It just lays the groundwork. You need to respect Streets of Rage 1 because it lays the groundwork and shows you this really good blueprint of what you need to do so that the next one can be a little bit weird and be a little bit awesome. And I like how it's hard, but they also made it for plenty of continues, and so you could make it through a pretty good ways in the game, like you'd want in a home console game, instead of feeling more like the arcade. And that they were doing they were going against Final Fight, which was being ported over from arcade stuff, and so it made more sense to go, hey, yeah, but we're more console. We're gonna give you that experience of feeling like you're making progress, getting through streets and making your way to the Mr. X boss.
Yeah, having rage in the streets and finding your way to that psycho. Yeah,
I still love the basicness of the beach fighting. Like, the beach fighting is some of my favorites out of all of them. There's one area where this one stage where you just go through and you're fighting on the beach, and something about the way the waves come in and that animation. It's real simple and basic, but it just feels like I'm fighting on the beach. I'm the Karate Kid. I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. You
always had that feeling of like, if I was here, Daniel would be safe. I would fight him on the beach,
right?
Or
I would kick sand in that guy's. Oh, speaking of kicking sand in people's eyes,
yeah.
This had one pickup that never made it anywhere else.
Oh, tell me more, because pickups, finding a turkey dinner on the ground and eating it is so freaking stupid. So tell me more. I love these things. They're my favorite.
So you're not picking up street meat, and you're not picking up apples and that kind of stuff. You can also pick up pipes, like Scott has said, and a bat, and I think a bottle, which breaks the first time you use it, because it's a whole bottle. Then you break it, and it's a stabbing weapon. But there's also a pepper shaker, and I was like, what the hell is that? And apparently they must have burger timed it, because you can stun your enemies.
Oh, with some like throwing it in their face kind of idea?
Yeah. Throw some pepper in their face, and they're stunned for just a second. They don't take any damage or anything, but you can go to town.
Wow, I didn't know that. So
I didn't know it either.
It's like pocket sand from Dale Gribble. Right?
It pretty much is pocket sand.
Yeah, you remember that when he threw pocket sand in the guy's face and yelled the words pocket sand? It was an amazing time.
Pocket sand.
No, that's great. So the game, I think the only really thing it was missing was variety of characters in that first game. They just didn't have a lot going on. And it wasn't as crazy. Streets of Rage would come along with 2, and we would be handed a much more, I think, complete package. So let's talk about that game for a second. This one sounded even better. Listen to that, dude. Okay, wait for the big stuff. The big stuff coming. Here it comes. Oh, here we go. This is the iconic bit.
Yeah.
Amazing. And you hear that, you hear the punching is a little bit meatier, you know, a little more aggressive, a little more impactful, which I'm a fan of. But again, the voice samples are also terrible. So that's the thing.
I liked, the voice samples were terrible, but I also kind of liked them.
Yeah, you're okay with it?
Can I say that?
Yeah, you can get away with that, I think. I think you have every right to a bad opinion here on the show. It's fine.
We haven't talked about
go ahead.
We haven't talked about the composer here, which is Yuzo Koshiro. Mm-hmm. Is that right?
I think that's correct.
And I think also the first one, he did that one, I think, alone. Of course, whatever feedback you got. But then the second one, I think it was Koshiro and Kawashima, I believe it is, Motohiro Kawashima. And he makes actually both of those return for 3. I think they're all in this whole 3 series. Apologies for any butchering of names. But I just want to mention those composers, to me, made this game. We played other beat 'em ups, but the music is so important in this. This is just, I listened to it all week. I listened to this music all week. Whether I was playing the game or not, I was turning the music on.
There's some amazing remixes as well. If you go hunt them down, you can find some crazy cool remix tracks that people are making around Streets of Rage. But it really has an exceptional soundtrack, huge boost in graphical fidelity. Like, look at the rain on this level alone. This is awesome. There's a
larger
giant
sprites.
Yeah, big turkey dinner on the ground. More meat, street meat. But yeah, more characters, more diversity of enemies, including a couple they had to censor for later re-releases because it's a little insensitive at the time for what they were getting away with. But this is still very playable, very fun. I probably had the most fun returning to this. Now, I'll admit this is the one I played the most back in the day, so I'm a little partial to it.
Right, nostalgia winning. Here.
The nostalgia, took a real win here. But I still think this is really fun, and I didn't have a chance to play with somebody else. But really, where this game shines is you get a couple of you get your best friend on the couch with you and play this game with them. Great co-op, dude. Really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that was one of the big wins on the first one. I think that's what really shined. If I remember correctly, the first version of Final Fight was they stripped it down to a single player, and you could still play 2. All these are multiplayer, so it's 2-player on the first one and 2-player on this one. And Scott's right, the 2 players where it really shines in is couch co-op. Plug in a couple of 3-button Sega Genesis controllers and just go to town.
Yep. And look at this 90s ass villain thing spread. Look at that.
Mr. X and
so
the Syndicate.
Good.
Ooh, how clever. How very clever. Did you think of that yourself? Yeah, look at those deep, scary looking eyes.
Yeah,
none of these games are huge on story, but they definitely set it up so that you feel like, oh, I'm in one of those action films of the late 80s, possibly. And I'm getting to play through it. And yeah, I dug that a lot. You got Axel Blaze, and this time we have who you like, the big guy, Max. He's huge. He's muscle on muscle. And then my favorite character. Now, I played this back in the day, just like Scott, but I was very bland, very boring. I picked Axel 90% of the time. And if I ever picked anybody else, I was always disappointed because I'm like, I don't know how to play these players because they do actually have different stats this time around. Skate is the man. I love Skate.
Skate's pretty great.
He's so stupid, but I love him. He's got those inline skates, which are very, very popular at the time. His moves are amazing. He's just so much fun. I love grappling because I love jumping on people's backs and then punch them in the head. He feels so fun.
He's much more mobile. That dude moves around the screen real fast, but he's also kind of a lightweight, so he gets his ass handed to him a little bit if you're not careful.
Yeah.
And that was the big difference with 2 as well. The characters felt not just play style different, but some were bigger and could take more hits. Some were small and took less, but they had more mobility. Like there was more of a class system involved. and I thought that made the game a lot more interesting to play and replay. Really, go back and try another character kind of thing. This was announced in 2022, but it didn't. I don't think we've heard anything else about it. But the John Wick creator guy, the director and creator of John Wick, was making a Streets of Rage film. He had optioned the rights. DJ2 Entertainment was all lined up to be like production lead on this thing, and now I've heard nothing since then. Yeah. But that could be cool, right?
It could be really cool because it's a very basic story, and that's all you need. I mean, John Wick, it's a very simple story as well, and it's just all about, kicking ass. Yeah. Can you get some good actors who can kick ass for an hour and a half?
Yeah.
Then you got it. Hey Scott, you know what they called Streets of Rage 2 in Japan?
Bump me in the face with your knuckles.com +1.
Close.
I have no idea.
Bare Knuckle 2.
Oh,
Bare Knuckle
close.
2. Yeah.
Bare Knuckle 2, because Bare Knuckle 1 was, of course, Streets of Rage, right? That's what they called that.
Right.
Yeah.
Streets of Rage. And this actually released in America first in Zazinski. Is that how I always forget how you say his last name? It's the big marketing guy behind Sega Genesis.
Right. That guy was instrumental in, blast processing, Nintendo, all that stuff. That was him. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's the one who pushed this really hard. He's like, you know what? It was a little slow start in the US for the Streets of Rage 1, but we really like it and we want more. And Japan was like, this is when they were all arguing and stuff. And Console Wars, you should read it. And they ended up releasing this here first in the US, and I think we loved it. I think it was right on time.
Huge hit. Yeah, big hit.
Yeah.
And it also it also gave Sega, they didn't have the same Turtles game that Nintendo had with the SNES and the Turtles adaptation. And that thing was awesome. Still best in class, right? Yeah. So this is their chance to go, well, we can do this too. We can make one of these.
We're pretty good at this. Look out. So they got a team. I want to say, and I haven't finished doing my research yet, so forgive me if I didn't get all of it, because just learning all about the 3 Streets of Rage was a lot to consume in 1 week. But I do know that Yuzo Koshiro, the composer, and his sister, they were part of a development team that was basically, they were kind of in-house, but they were contracted outside because they had their own business. His sister did the character design and also helped make choices about who stayed in the game, who didn't stay in the game, what kind of settings they were going to be in, because it gets weird sometimes in this one, Scott. Because once you get off the mean streets, you get to the amusement park part. And if you're not paying attention, suddenly you're fighting pirates, and then you're fighting Geiger aliens. You're like, what happened?
Yeah.
It's still in the amusement park. But,
it gets real
weird.
It gets really weird, and that's why I think I like 2 so much, because it is just no holds barred weird. They don't hold back.
Yeah.
And there's the boss fight with that really flamboyant dude, Hitler-looking guy.
Oh, that was 3, right? Is that in 3?
I think that's 2. No, I thought it was 2.
I think 3 had the highly censored. 3 actually came out late in life.
Yeah, it was a long time
for the system, and because we were already looking at, we're doing 3D stuff already, and so it was still pretty popular. 3 was very popular in Japan, because that was still going on. Those type of 2D side-scrolling competitive type punching games were still hot. We didn't care much about it here in the U.S., but I think that's they removed the flamboyant gay character from 3, I believe.
Yeah, was it? I thought it was. I could have sworn it was 2, but you maybe you're right. Maybe it was 3.
It gets. The data gets really funky. That's one of the reasons why it took me so long to do all my research this week, is because I would hear things attributed to one game that was actually in a different game. So it's not on you, Scott. Trust me. There's a lot of data out there. I've watched YouTube videos where they would be talking about, oh yeah, this is when this happened. And I'm like, no, that's in 3. What are you talking about? Or no, that's in 2, because I did all my reading.
Yeah, you did your research.
It's like you can't.
Yeah.
I did my research. I didn't go to YouTube and research it. I went to YouTube last.
Yeah.
And after I read interviews and that kind of stuff, and yeah, it gets confusing. But I think 3 was when the gay character, Big Gay Al. No, that wasn't it.
No, but it was really over the top, and it was really offensive the way they did it. It wasn't great. Here's by the way, these are beach ninjas that he's fighting here, and that's what you get on the beach. Beach ninjas.
Yeah, these are after. Is this before or after the pirates? I can't remember. This I didn't care for this beach scene as much as the one in the first one. The first one felt good.
The reason I don't like this one is look at the water. It looks like it's a shadow that the water recedes and leaves, but it's not. It's supposed to be wet dirt, but it F's with my eyes and it bugs me and it makes me have a headache playing this level. I don't like this level.
For some reason, it feels weird because it's just about the camera angles. For some reason, it was so refreshing to see in the first one because the water was below our character, and in the background was the streets. But here, they got the body of water in the background, and in the foreground is the sand. And it's such a simple, small difference that this makes me go, I like the other way better.
Yeah, something's weird about it. I don't like it either. I do like these kickboxer guys. They're a cool enemy. I like those guys. Look at them all skinny and weird looking.
Some of the best parts, though, is this ability to throw your enemies into, because you're, like I said earlier, all these games has the one thing in common, which is you're like a magnet and they're always trying to surround you. And you don't want that to happen because if they surround you, you're not going to you don't do as well. In this one, you had the ability to punch behind you, which I think you could do somewhat in the first one too, but it wasn't as easy to pull off. In this one, you can grab characters a lot easier and throw them, so you can pull all these little combo moves and clear the field. It's just such a really good balance of gameplay in this one.
Did you?
In addition to the great
were
music.
You ever able to pull out? I remember back when I played this with my brother, we would do combo moves that required 2 players, like co-op moves.
I never got to do that. No, because I didn't get to do that. No.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
I don't remember. It was a long time ago, and I didn't do it this week, but I remember it being not easy. So when you pulled it off, you were both like celebrating. You're like, holy shit, we did it, Matt. Well done,
Yeah.
We were super into
We
it.
did it. We did so good. I didn't have any friends. So let's just sweep that under the rug.
Sure.
There's B Signal. There's finally B Signal. So there's some characters in here. There's R Signal, Y Signal, who you come across early on. All the characters in this, all the bad guys in this have names.
Yeah, they're all named.
There's only so many.
Yeah, B Signal.
Yeah. But then they got the red and the yellow and the blue signals like you would have in your component, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And you got Hakuo and you got Y Signal. There's Y Signal.
Y Signal again. Yeah.
Those guys, the Signal guys, freaking. I would have not liked them in real life at all. I would have hated those guys.
No, and they're the ones and once again, the bad guys were much more varied, and they had different tactics you had to take because some of these guys have longer reach, and so you only can attack them in certain ways, and you have to learn it as you go along. And it was not punishing; it felt rewarding, and that's why this game is probably one of the biggest titles that's on the Sega Genesis. I mean, it's a phenomenal game.
I think except for what?
There's one thing. Except for thank you for my special power moves. I appreciate that. However, I will hate you always if you penalize me for using it by taking away my life bar. If you want to call it an energy bar that slowly regenerates, I'm okay with that. But it's not an energy bar. It's a freaking life bar.
Yeah.
And when you use it, it sucks up your life. That's not cool.
Do you like Gourmand or Gourmand? This is the guy with the big guy with the shoots fire out of his mouth and wears suspenders. Yeah. Gourmand, he's awesome.
Yeah, I didn't get to go up against Gourmand very often, but he's pretty cool. He does some belly flops. He'll land right on you, but he's shooting out fire. Once again, I don't think the boss level stuff is as cool as is the juggler in the first one.
Yeah.
Like in the tall pirate looking guy with the boomerang. I think those are just cooler designs in the bad guys.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm torn. But I also think I am mixing some stuff up with 3, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
Which we should jump to now. Yeah. Let's talk about 3. Ooh, what's this? I mean, look, this is a strong entry into that soundtrack stuff. It's real good.
Koshiro, what are you doing, buddy?
Yeah.
He's like, I've already done basic in 1. I did some really cool stuff in 2. And now I'm just gonna experiment. I'm gonna have some fun.
Yep, basically. And he does. It goes a little bit crazy. I will say the other thing about this game is it wants to tell more of a story. It does not want to just have you go stage to stage, beat a thing, and move on. They have pseudo cutscenes where you get like a little still image of the fighters, and they tell you stuff like, we're going to go get the guy, see? What are we going to do now? Blah. Like, they'll have dialogue. I'm not sure it helps the game, but the game really wants to have a story. And that's different than 2, I think.
It doesn't help the game in the context of if you were getting this as a sequel back when it released in 1994.
Right.
However, as I've found as I've gotten older, it's like, man, I could have used more of whatever thing. And I'm glad this exists, because now on Streets of Rage 3, I do have this different flavor that makes it almost uncomparable to the others. So I'm like, oh, well, if you want that dumbass action story, well, guess what? They just didn't do what they did in 1 and 2. They're going to give you something different. And I appreciate it.
I do too.
Like a different game.
It does feel like a very different game. Actually, all 3 of them, they're very different than the one that came before it. Yeah. I just can't help but feel like 2 is where it peaked, both in popular culture, gameplay overall, like just the vibe that is Streets of Rage. For whatever reason, 2 feels like that's where it really hit. There's nothing wrong with 3. 3 plays just fine. It's just, like you said earlier, our interest had waned a bit in these side-scrolling beat-em-ups. Their decision to make it a little less arcadey and a little more, well, it's still arcadey, but add these story elements. They brought down the crazy factor just a little bit. And they also zoomed the camera out a little bit. I liked it a little tighter in 2. 2 had a cooler, more up-close vibe.
I thought I did too until I probably did it wrong. So this is how I played them. I played 2 because I was familiar with it. I want to see how far I could get and get some retro achievements.
Sure.
Cool.
Did you get any, by the way? You got some achievements or no? How'd you do?
I did. I did get some achievements this past week. I'm going to tell you about it. Yeah, I did get some achievements. I rocked it. You know what? I'm better at Streets of Rage than I thought, or the game is easier. Maybe both are true.
Maybe a little bit of both. Sure.
I started off with a little bit of both. I started out on 2 because I wanted to get back into the game a little bit, and I was like, hey, you know what? I'm not half bad at this, or really just easy, like we just said. And then I said, you know what else I'm going to check? I'm going to check out. I'll go back to 1. And went back to 1. I actually liked the smaller sprites because of the character design. I think maybe was given some kind of influence, maybe. And then I jumped into 3. So for jumping from 1 to 3 felt very natural, and it wasn't as shocking probably if you played them in order.
I agree
because losing that size probably does mess with you a little bit.
I just said how less 3 is less crazy, but I'm now watching her fight a kangaroo. With a kangaroo trainer, like what are we doing here?
I thought you were being sarcastic or sarcasm.
I really thought 3 was less nuts, and I didn't play a ton of it this run, but
3,
yeah, it's pretty.
It's insane.
It's pretty,
and I love it. I love that they went. 1 was like the most basic, organized, structured game you could have. 2 was like this nice combination of, but what if we did some, fun, weird stuff here and there? And then 3 was like this said, let's just do weird shit. And I got to play as Dr. Zan. That is my man. Dr. Zan. You can play as Axel, Blaze, Skate, or you can be a mother effing Dr. Robot Zan. And he's got like his jump. He's kind of got like a little backpack or something. Her legs are really weird the way she's walking. So I guess they only animated the bottom, the bottom 1/3 of her legs. Yeah. That's really weird.
Look, you've only got 4 megabytes to deal with here. You got to use what you can.
I think they actually went up to, so each time they had a new one, they got the go ahead and approval to get a little larger cart. I think this one might have been close to 8 meg cart by the time we got here.
Okay.
Which thank God, because Dr. Zan is man, if you really just break down the animation that's on Dr. Zan and all of his moving parts, he's freaking amazing.
Yeah.
He's got Heelys going on in the back of his, his back of his shoes. He's got go-go gadget arms. He's freaking insane, and I love it. I love his little electrical lightning thing. I had way more fun with 3 than I thought I would. I didn't remember 3 being anything even worth mentioning, but
I remember.
I'm not saying it's better than anything.
This scene I'm showing you right now, where she's, for those listening at home, she's fighting these walls of cement while a excavator's trying to chase her down.
She's saying, "I'm Juggernaut, bitch," and she's running.
She's trying to pound through these walls. I found that kind of stuff in 3 to be tedious. I did not like those mini games at all. They're not fun to me. I just want to fight dudes, and I don't think this sort of thing is great.
How do you even kick a freaking bulldozer? I mean, come on. Well, what would even be the point?
I think whoever's playing this is actually doing it wrong, because you're supposed to just stay away from it until you get to the end, and then when you get to the end, it slams into this wall and it drops a barrel and kills the guy. You don't have to do anything.
Right.
You just have to kick the wall. Yeah. So I don't know who's doing this playthrough, but it's fine.
I don't either. Pickups are back. Special moves are still here, but now instead of taking away from your life energy bar, you have like some kind of burger stacks of special moves that you acquire over time that you can use up.
Yeah,
it's different, and I like it better actually. But still,
all right, you'll stand by that, will you? Okay,
I'll stand by that. Yeah.
I'm a little surprised that every time they do like a group thing with other Sega characters in like Sega or Sonic's Mario Kart ripoff, I forgot the name of it. It's a pretty good game, but Sega's Super Sonic Drive unit, whatever it is.
Right.
I'm always surprised that the Streets of Rage people never make an appearance in that crap. It's always like, oh, here's the guy from Crazy Taxi, here's the dude from Shenmue, here's Sonic, here's Knuckles, here's all these things you expect. But where's the effing... Oh, I forgot this boss is a robot. Sorry. Where's the where's the
He burns me up. Yeah, why is there not more internal love for this series? Because the external love, the people out there are the fans love Streets of Rage, but it's like internally Sega's kind of like
I don't know why that is. It's unfortunate. I mean, they're obviously coming back to love it. They made a new game with 4 and they've got another new one coming. I guess
very shortly. I think probably this year, if I had to guess.
Yeah, something like that. Maybe early next year. But
they announced it. They announced the stuff this past year, and they said they were bringing Crazy Taxi, Streets of Rage, and what was the other thing they were bringing back?
Oh, Jet Set Radio.
That's it. Yeah, Jet Set. We're going to cover that here shortly.
We got to talk about Jet Set. There's a game on Steam that's supposedly really faithful to why people love Jet Set, and I need to pick it up, try it. I keep hearing really good things about it.
Agreed.
Sega's, they drag your feet long enough. Someone will make an indie game that's a lot like your old classic, and that's kind of what happened there. Anyway,
I think me and you need to find a way to get through the first one and use net play or something so that we can get through it. That guy's shooting rockets out of his elbows. Anyway,
he's like a Terminator. This guy, you notice that? He's like Terminator Man under all those clothes. It's crazy.
He's pretty cool. There's a lot more robots in this one. But if you get to the ending of the first one, the first one has a really unique ending that I was reading about and I've never experienced. You have to play 2-player, and there's a couple of endings for it. And if you have 2 players and you make a decision at the end, the boss asks you if you want to join him or reject him. If you reject him, playing by yourself, you just start back over and you walk and you play through again. But if it's 2 people, then you actually get to fight each other. And then whoever wins that fight gets to fight the boss again. And then you get an ending where you're Mr. X, sort of, kind of. You're the big guy. You've earned the streets. And I'm interested in seeing how that would go down.
Yeah.
I would like to see me and you fight to the finish.
Yep. Yeah.
Strong to my spinach.
Bring it. Bring it on. Real quick here, I'll show a preview of the scene that is no longer available in 3. And you're right, it is 3. I was wrong about this. This is the character that is the sort of stereotype. Hey, I'm all into leather and chains. I'm basically that character from the guy from South Park. What was his name? Not Big Gay Bob.
Big Gay Al.
No, the other guy, the one that was hanging out with the teacher all the time, and he was always.
Oh yeah. Oh, I know you're talking about. Yeah, he's the neckerchief wearer, as they would say, right? He's the YMCA. He's the prototypical YMCA kind of.
Yeah, he's buff. He's always wearing his leathers. This is that.
Yeah,
it's just them having a go, taking the piss, as the British would say.
Taking the piss. He's actually I wondered about where he was at in the game, because I made it to the boat scene where there's a scene where there's a guy driving a boat and he'll pull up alongside the dock and he'll let a bunch of goons out and they'll come fight you. and then you'll finish those. You'll come back up again, let some more out. And the guy that I fought was not this guy.
No,
I played the Streets of Rage, not the Bare Knuckles.
Yeah, they changed it. And I don't remember when they changed it, or if any of the carts got changed during production. But I know that scene is out. If you buy a collection or get the Steam version of like all the Sega classics, it's not in there.
Yes,
so just know that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think you could pick that up. If you get the Sega base game on Steam, then you can it's like $1.99 or something for a lot of these Streets of Rage. Add them on. There's so many. Every time Sega has ever done anything, even though they don't give them much love outside of this, they always release a version of Streets of Rage in almost every collection. It's almost impossible not to find.
Yeah, it's part of the deal.
It was on my Sega. You got the Sega Genesis classic console, right?
I do.
Get one of those. Yeah. And it is on.
Two's on that for sure. 2 is definitely on there. Yeah. 3 might be on the newer one though, on the 2.0
right
device. Yeah, I don't have that one.
Yeah, but I had to break out when I wasn't playing, and boy, we're going to get into this sometime soon. I finally loaded up Batasera. I've done it. People who've been telling me for months and months I've done it.
What's it called? What is it?
I just got up. Batasera.
Batasera. What the hell is that?
So I've talked about RetroPie before, right? That is kind of like it's an all-in-one.
Sure.
Everything for your Raspberry Pi. Well, there's a Batasera, which is more than just for the Raspberry Pi, but that was my use case. And it's just essentially emulation station, which looks very familiar to what you're seeing when you do Emu Deck. It's got emulation station on the front end, and then it's got RetroArch in the back end. And it's just, it's just customized to the hilt of bezels, shaders. And if none of those words mean anything to you, trust me, I'll be talking all about that stuff. But it's really slick project. And I played some of it so I get my retro achievements and my save states. But I've been using my I got my Sega Genesis Model 1 out. She's so sexy. I love her so much.
I'll bet you do.
I love her. Is that wrong? Is it okay to have
feelings for a box?
Like I'm like rubbing it right now. I can't not rub it.
I think that's fine. Rub it
here.
Rub it.
Rub it. Can I? So yeah. See, look, there it is right there. Oh, here's my little Raspberry Pi there, and then this is that's my Model 1 right there.
No, it's beautiful. The Model. I'm a big fan of the Model 2, but I have a lot of old feelings for the Model 1. So nothing wrong with it.
I've got my 201 cart in here, which has all 3 Streets of Rage in there. The ROMs they load up in this bad boy right here, and I played it. And the power switch needs to be lubed up. I got to lube it up, Scott.
Yeah, lube up that switch. Get some lube on there.
Get some lube on it.
Let's talk for a second about the abomination that is Streets of Rage for the Game Gear. Now, my biggest problem with it is not that it's on there. I think that's great. Serve your portable gamer people. It's that it just looks like ass, I think. I think this game is muddy and gross and hard to look at. And especially when you start scrolling, everything is real chip-chop, and I don't like it.
Chip-chop.
Not a good game. It's a bad port.
No, it is. And was it 3 only made it to...
I think you only got
to the Genesis.
Yeah,
right?
You only got 3 on the Genesis. Everything. Let's see. Yeah, a Master System and Game Gear only got 1 and 2. So
Yeah.
And they're fine if that's all you have. I guess I don't know. I don't know why you bother, though. They're just muddy and ugly and awful. So don't play these.
Yeah. The only reason why, there's no sense in it now, but if you had a Game Gear back in the day, it's portable. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
Can
you imagine? I was
house and plug it in.
I was talking about how this SP has, I'd let it drain for 14 hours or something. And it took that long for the battery to finally drain to 0. The Game Gear with 6 AA's would drain in, I don't know, 25 minutes. We've come a long way. As much as we complain that battery tech has not as hasn't advanced as fast as we'd like or whatever, it's still pretty freaking good.
It's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing. Every time my Steam Deck actually is like as large as that screen is, and as much heat as it generates. Yeah. I'm always amazed when it'll last like 2 hours. I'm like, what is going on? How is
on a really heavily 3D type game engine, it's surprising that you get that out of it. When you play stuff that's retro or pixelated or even just smaller 3D stuff, you're getting 6, 7, 8, sometimes 12 hours out of that thing.
It's crazy.
And it is crazy. We really do have things now that we always wanted, and I don't think we appreciate it enough. We're in the middle of it now. We don't think about it, but back in the day, that Game Gear, dude. I think
Eventually, you'll never stop. They'll always be charged up. It'll just be constantly charging up. It'll be never endless power.
Yeah.
Endless power.
I spent most of my time plugging it in because it had a plug that would go inside the battery hole. So you couldn't shut it. You had to open the battery case and then plug it on the inside, and then it would hang out the back of it. And I played it mostly like that so that I got playtime longer than 12 minutes on a bunch of batteries.
Yeah.
So stupid. So stupid. All right.
It was so stupid, but it was how we had to survive, man. The fact that you could play Streets of Rage, somewhat portably, it's freaking amazing.
Yeah. Now this version for the Master System, little less muddy, little better.
Yeah.
Than the Game Boy or Game Gear game.
Game Gear. The GG. You got to say the GG.
But I still think it plays like poop. I didn't like it. I'm not.
I kind of find it charming.
Do you like that the door? That door is big enough that it makes your guy look like the smallest man on the planet.
There was some scaling issues, obviously, but look at the bad guy, the clown axe thrower with the red hair. He's still fun.
He's still there.
Like I said, it's charming. I think it's charming.
All right.
The sexy poster ladies randomly placed about the street.
What does that say on it? Does it say anything?
Swing. I don't know.
I don't know what these things are. I don't know. It's fine. I'm gonna say. Okay, you know what? Here's the final thing on this. This one's fine.
Right.
But these barrels,
it's fine.
That barrel's too big for that guy. What are we doing here?
Everything's too big. It's definitely some weird. Probably because they started out with the backgrounds and they said these sprites are too big. We're gonna take them down. We're way up too much memory, and they probably had to make them smaller or something stupid. Anyway, speculation.
Yeah.
One thing I've always forget about when I play in the Master System is this only has 2 buttons, and so this is a 3-button game. ABC. Always be clicking. And so you have to, in order to call in your cop friend with the bazooka, you have to hit the start select button. There's only one other button. You don't have a combination start select button on it. And you have to push that, and it pauses the game, and then you hit the button, and then he comes out.
Yeah.
And I always forget that, and until I'm middle of playing and going, how do you do that crap again? Is it like?
I mean, sort of had the same problem on. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Game Boy Advance only had 2. People always think it was like SNES where it had all 4 face buttons, and it didn't.
Yeah.
It was just the 2, but it had shoulder buttons, so you could do more there. I don't know. It's a oh yeah, this guy with the Wolverine claws. Oh my gosh, that's just. What's his name? Hold on. Doesn't say, does it?
Claw guy, Mr. Claw, if I had to guess.
Mr. Claw.
Because the bad guys were like Mr. X and the Syndicate.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, and Mr. Claus.
Yep. My big takeaway, though, is A, these are fun brawlers, and B, Yuzo Koshiro is a musical cartridge genius man. He was as good as anybody ever was, so hats off to that guy. Is he still with us? Still around? Do we know?
I believe so. So we had 2. We had the other guy came in too, and he did some pretty freaking amazing stuff too. I think he pushed him. I think the fact that you had 2 composers on 2, I think that really pushed him to do a little more, because it was kind of bland in the first one. It was just like, it's good. It was good. Don't get me wrong. And it's only bland when you're comparing it to 2, which is amazing.
Oh, here he is. But he's just a couple of years older than me. He's still around, still doing stuff. He's still, let's see, early life, freelance work. Let's see.
His mom called Sega and had them put his name at the start of the game. I don't know if you noticed that, but it's like developer Sega, which is the big Sega team there.
That's funny.
And then it says composer, it says music or something, and it's got his name down there, and I'm like, oh, that's hilarious.
Eye of the Beholder, the Eye of the Beholder game for, I think that was a Dungeons and Dragons game. Yeah, for the Sega CD. He did the music for that. I kind of want to check that out.
Yeah.
He also did Beyond Oasis, Legend of Oasis. We've talked about those a little bit. And Warriors of the Lost Empire. What's he done now? Anything now? Let's see. In the year 2024, Eartheon and Mina the Howler. I don't know what those are. Soul Cresta.
Oh, Soul Cresta.
In 2022. ActRaiser Renaissance. I don't know what that looks like, a remake. Oh, Streets of Rage 4, they brought him back.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's real good.
I've been tempted. I've been wanting to play Streets of Rage 4, and I just have not. And then I thought, not this week, Brian. Not this week. I wanted to, but I was like, no.
Yeah.
Do it. I'll have to wait.
That reminds me, No Clip on YouTube. They're a documentary video game channel. They do great work.
Right. Oh, yeah, they do so good.
They did an amazing. Their last one is this really amazing look at the music and early look at like Psygnosis games, but specifically the Wipeout games and how they came to get the tone they wanted, the sound effect work, and all that. And I was such a fan of that crap that thing really resonated with me. So if any of that's interesting to you out there listening, go check out their latest episode. It's really, really good.
Yeah, and if you're out there and you find the vinyl versions, because they released these on vinyl, these soundtracks, with a little more enhanced versions of these songs. If you find one,
that's cool. Dang,
they're expensive.
I didn't know that was a thing. That's pretty rad.
I hear they're expensive, and I would love one.
Hey, check this out. I'm gonna listen to this, just a taste of it. This is a little bit of a remix I found that I thought was awesome. Let me see if I can pull it back here. Here we go. Okay, check this out. Wait. This gets banging.
Oh man,
it's pretty good, right? That's from
that is so freaking good.
2014 remix from somebody called Iceferno.
I love it, Iceferno. You're on fire, you big ice brigade.
Yeah.
I love it.
Sorry, I don't know why that's playing again. He has a bunch of these, bunch of remakes or remixes of Yakuza. Oh my gosh, hold on. Is that the Daytona song? Hold on.
Oh, Daytona.
Hold on. Oh no, that's Shinobi. Where's
Also
Daytona?
a great one.
I want to hear this Daytona one. Hold on a second. Sonic 1.
That's good too. Oh, is this it?
Oh, Street Fighter.
Street Fighter.
Hold on. How about? I can't find it.
Oh,
I tried.
Oh, I don't know. All of those are great.
Yep, Iceferno. Go look it up on YouTube. Sub to that guy.
Iceferno. Oh, one more thing before we leave our Streets of Rage.
Yeah.
Before we get off the Streets of Rage, there's a project called Open Bore, Open BOR, which is short for Beats of Rage. I guess they didn't want to go with Open Streets of Rage, which have been open source. I guess they didn't want to do that.
Oh, yeah.
So if you look for, it's an engine that they've put several games out, but anywho, Streets of Rage 2X. It is kind of a remake of the first two, so you can play both the first and second levels of Streets of Rage in this open source. And it's pretty cool. It's got some graphical enhancements. The music is good. It's pretty neat. And it's free. And if you have Batasera, it's in the download package repository. Just click it and download and play it. That's what I did.
They also added a bunch of weird stuff to it. Like you can be He-Man.
Yeah.
How is that?
Oh, that's that. Yeah. So the open bore Chrono Crash, there's a He-Man. There's a He-Man thing that uses the same engine. It is great.
Oh my gosh! Look at that. Yeah, it's called He-Man Open Board Game. I found a full playthrough on YouTube.
Yeah.
What?
I played it. I played a little bit of it. It's kind of hard, but it's interesting. Like most of it's like really fast moving left to right kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And like you're riding. Oh yeah, He-Man.
He-Man. I've got the sword and the furry underwear, he says. Wow.
If you can imagine what it would look like if like maybe a Laserdisc version of this, because all the animation looks like, cell animation stuff.
It's weird.
It's weird. It's different.
Very, very weird. That's cool. That's a cool project though.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Battle Cat. I rode Battle Cats in like the first thing I did. It was really hard. I'm riding Battle Cat and I'm like, I don't get it. I'm like, get me out of here, Adam. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, you fight Skeletor. Hold on. There's a Skeletor scene. Look at him fighting.
Of course you fight Skeletor.
Oh, no, you are Skeletor in this. You can pick Skeletor. Until we meet again, he would say.
He-Man.
He-Man, I don't feel so well. All right. He's the best ever.
We got to watch the He-Man Christmas special this year for a watch.
Hell yes. By the way, if you have time after this, we should totally do an X-Men. Do you have time after this today?
Yeah.
You want to do one?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm looking forward to it. All right, let's move on to a little game of our own making, and we call this game Guess My Game. And here's the thing for it.
Destroy it.
We play an old classic game of some sort, and then we try to guess the sound or the name of the game based on that sound. You get a couple of hints, and you get multiple choice. We will tell each other the platform and the year, and then we will play the clip and then give the options. I'm going to start, and it's a PC game from 1998. That's a big year, 98. It's a big one.
Oh, yeah.
You had StarCraft, you had your Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, Half-Life 1. Like 98 is a massive year. It's a huge year for a lot of reasons. And this game was
But you didn't pick any of those.
I picked one that I liked a lot back in the day, I'll say that. All right. Here's the sound, and then we'll talk about it. Here you go. That's you, not me. Hold on. Sorry. You're
about to say, that sounds like my game.
Yeah, that sounds like your game. All right, that gives you an idea. Okay, just a lot of ambient noise and kind of country tunes. Here are your options, sir. Is it A, Anno 1910, City Builder Anno 1910? B, Railroad Tycoon 2, C, 1849 Gold Rush, or D, Civilization 3? Which of those do you think it is?
This definitely feels like Civilization 3. No, marked off the board. I never played Anno. How do you say it? A-N-N-O? What is it?
I always say Anno. I don't know if I'm ever right about
Anno?
it. Yeah.
Anno 1910. I don't think that sounds right. But I will say that it's got that, that Old West kind of railroad tycoon or 1849 gold rush. So we're going to narrow it down to those two. I don't remember Railroad Tycoon being that fun. And I've never played 1849 Gold Rush. So I'm going to say C. Even though it's probably going to be B. I'm going to say C.
C, 1849 Gold Rush. Let's find out if that's correct. Is it? No, it's Railroad Tycoon 2. Oh,
I knew
it.
I should have went with what I knew instead of what I was guessing.
So freaking close. Not really close, but
but it was my fault because I went with the go with C if you're not sure.
Yeah.
And so I did just that, and I should have went, even though I was a little more sure it was Railroad Tycoon, I still went with the C. Brian.
There's a little more. These are kind of more railroady here.
Yeah.
It's a little bit like
later
in the clip.
I heard that ding. I didn't hear that ding the first time. Ding.
Yeah. It's a little bit more giveaway. Now, for the record, I'd just like to tell you a few things that happened here today. Civilization is a true, real game. Did not come out in 1998, but it's a real game. Railroad Tycoon came out in 98 and is a real game. Fantastic game.
Oh.
Anno 1910 is a very fake, made-up game. It does not exist.
I didn't think that sounded right. This year I was like, I don't recognize that one. I know there's a Anno, but not...
Yeah, there's plenty of Annos. There's Anno 1800 or 1888, whatever it is. There's future ones, past ones. There's all kinds of those. C, 1849 Gold Rush, totally made it up. It probably actually exists as a name for something, but I made it up. So
you got me good.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that was embarrassing. I'm going to start making up names. Oh, that's embarrassing.
You can totally do that. It's the first time I've made up names. I don't know if that should be a rule or not, but I did it. All right, Brian, let's tell me what your platform and year are. What are we doing here?
All right, so I was stuck with the Genesis Mega Drive, and I went with the year 1989. The instead of 98, I went 89.
All right,
89, dude.
89. Let's try it out. '89's early for Genesis.
Yeah, looks good, right?
So
is it gonna be A, Alien Storm, B, Golden Axe, C, The Revenge of Shinobi, or D, Altered Beast?
Okay, hold on. All right. I think it's, for me, this is down. Altered Beast, no way. That's not it.
Right.
Alien Storm, I don't think that's it. I think this has either got to be Golden Axe and or Revenge of Shinobi, and both of those would have been right around this time. So I'm gonna It sounds like it's trying to be Asian.
Okay.
And that sounds like a shuriken bouncing off of something. I'm going to say The Revenge of Shinobi.
Oh, I'm sorry, Scott. The answer is C, The Revenge of Shinobi.
Oh, I got it correct. Nicely done. Sweet. I think it's the music is what did it for me. Everything else about it could have been any of these for sure. Altered Beast has a very specific sound to it, and that wasn't it. But yes.
Yes. The Altered Beast was that was the. I don't want to make this too hard. It was, it's like I got to throw one in there. It's a weird one. So,
Altered Beast is a weird game. Like they tried to sell a lot of Genesises on the fact that it had Altered Beast at launch, and I remember thinking, really? Because Altered Beast is kind of dumb. It's not great. It's okay.
I don't know. I find it compelling. It's not. If you said, "Do you want to play some Altered Beast?" I'm like, I'm not really. But if it's on somewhere, I'm like, let me check this out. There's something so weird.
Yeah.
About it that just kind of pulls me in every time.
It is definitely weird.
Yeah.
What's the thing he says when he comes out and there's a voice sample very famous.
Yeah.
What is it? Shit.
It's not shit. That would be interesting though, but no, it's like rise from your grave. Is that it?
Right. Yeah, that's it. Rise from your grave. Rise from your grave.
Yeah.
From your rise from your grave. Let's see if we can hear that. You want to hear that?
Good.
Here we go.
Yeah, give me that.
Okay, hold on. All right, where is it? Oh, here we go. Wait. Oh my gosh, hit start.
Rise from your grave.
That's it.
Rise
from your grave.
Those old voice sample things in those days. I love that stuff so much.
Oh, I forgot about that. In 3 on Streets of Rage 3, I think that's the one it is. You got a lot more voice work because you got more room. But it seems like they say Bare Knuckle a couple of times in there, and it's just hilarious the way they say it.
Bare Knuckle. Bare Knuckle.
Bare Knuckle.
Oh, I have some. You want to hear them?
You got Bare Knuckle?
I don't know. Let's find out. Streets of Rage.
That's great. Oh, I forgot about it. So
it's so bad.
This is a time during consoles and video games that you would leave in the sound test. So you could go into the options a lot of times and you could just click through every one of the tracks and every one of the punches or special effects.
Well, it was a cheap way of making it almost like a feature. It was like saying, it's got all this plus all the sound samples, and you want to check out the music, you can play the BGMs all by themselves. Like that was like a selling point. But they don't do this anymore. Not really. Games don't really do this.
Yeah.
You don't go buy a new Tomb Raider and go, now play all the times Laura screams when she dies or whatever. You don't do that. It's a different world.
They'll say a separate soundtrack though.
Yeah, they'll be happy to do that, and some DLC down the road. Why not? Well, anyway, that was fun. Well done. I win. You lose. Let's get to the listener feedback. We like to call this listener feedback, but what it really is finding out what's on your mind. Okay, I'm stalling because I can't find the button. There it is.
Welcome to the treasure room.
That'll teach me to be on the wrong tab. Anyway, we got this text here. 801-471-0462 is where it was sent. And this is from JR. Who killed JR? Remember that? Who killed JR?
Yeah, who killed nobody. It turns out it was all just a shower dream.
Yeah. How many generations besides ours have any knowledge about Dallas now? Is that like even is it lost to time? I think it's lost to time.
I think it's just lost. Whoever's left.
Yeah.
It's us.
Who's left? Just me and you.
It's
anyway, says Play Retro. My argument on what is considered retro has always been the 20-year rule as well. If rock music is considered classic rock after 20 years, then the same rule applies to games. Just my 2 cents. Yeah, I think I agree with that. This is like, what else are you going to say? Like, there's no cutoff. You know what I mean? Because classic for a kid, I got a 5-year-old upstairs right now who's playing, I don't know, something on his Switch. In 20 years, that thing he's playing on his Switch and the Switch itself is going to seem very retro to him. Right?
Oh, yeah.
So why put limits on this stuff, So we don't put limits where it stops. We put limits that move with the times. 20
right.
years.
It's a sliding scale, and unfortunately, how many more times can we scale before we're no longer here? We're going to find out.
Yeah. You know what's funny is it's a good thing. It's a good thing it's not 10 years because it is. We are at the long tail of what games look like. So 2015 versus 2020, as an example, or sorry, 2025 almost. That's almost 10 years. Those games look almost as good or as good as games look today. There are plenty of games that came out in 2015 where you fire them up on a PC today and you're like, wow, that game still looks amazing. Like it's not the change it used to be. So I don't know what maybe it does get longer in the future. Maybe 30 years is more accurate at some point because I don't know. Like when I'll tell you this, 20 years from 2015, I just don't know it'll be that different. Maybe it will.
And it's gonna be Well, our biggest delimiter currently is technology breakthroughs. But as technology breakthroughs change, the nostalgia won't be based on necessarily the functions that we had to deal with. It's going to be more just like regular everyday nostalgia, which is going to be like, oh, we were listening to this type of music during this time period, and it's fallen out of favor, and we've kind of forgotten about it, and we want to revisit it. And that's where the nostalgia part comes in. So there's going to be game mechanics that are going to define that this generation's. It's like, oh yeah, well we did. Fortnite was not necessarily, but Fortnite type of games were a really big thing. The royales of the generation will be thing people be nostalgia for when it falls out of favor and comes back around. Mm-hmm. Technology won't be as big a deal though, I don't think, until there is another big jump in technology.
Yeah, we don't know what that is until we get there. We don't know. But it's based,
if you look at your own life, I mean, just about every 10 years you change a good bit just as an individual, but every 20 years, if you look through a 20-year span, and you look back and like, wow, my tastes were totally different. Everything was different. And that's where nostalgia comes in. Yeah. And so, retro baby, 20 years. Now, that's what I think.
If I was to head over to retrogib.com.
Yeah.
Tell me what I'd find there today. What's interesting today? What's going on?
Well, our Retro Gib is our primary location for our community servers. We have a Roller Coaster Tycoon server, an Unreal Tournament 99 server, and an Unreal Tournament 2004 server. Those are all available for you to play. They're open 24/7. Come on in and play. Build Roller Coaster Tycoon if you want to get on there and build some stuff. And then send me a message and say, Brian, I built a really cool tiki hut with the sells sunglasses. Come look. I'll come over and do it. If you have some get-togethers, you want to get together and play Unreal Tournament 99 and Unreal Tournament 2004, get together with some friends, let us know. Yeah, maybe we'll pop in. Who knows?
Yeah,
who knows?
You never know.
RetroGIB.com has all that information.
That's right.
Like I was saying earlier, with Retro Achievements, I did accomplish a few. My username is Mission Deep over there, and let me see if I can get in there real quick and tell you what I did earn.
Sorry.
Streets of Daytona.
Streets of Rage.
Oh, Streets of Rage. So I earned 4 achievements out on Streets of Rage 2. I earned none on the first one. I got one achievement called Go Straight.
Ooh.
Complete stage 1 on normal difficulty or higher without using the stage select or extra lives cheat.
Yeah.
That's me.
Yeah.
Suck it.
Yeah, suck it.
Got
Smack
it.
talk. Smack talk. Smack talk.
That's
Smack
right.
talk.
Yeah. Smack talk.
But yeah, I've already got a couple of friends over there. Mission Deep is the name on retroachievements.org. If you want to know how to set that up for whatever system you currently have, let me know and I'll try to set it up for you. We'll work on it together. But this SP right here definitely has Retro Achievements installed on it. You just got to log into your account and then I can see what Scott's been playing.
Yeah, I love that. There you go. Look at our retro lives. Go be a bigger part of the community over there. All right, and watch X-Men with us after the show if you guys are in the mood. We're going to be doing it on Discord. Our next game and discussion is going to be about Grim Fandango. Yes, that's right. The
PC people.
Sort of modern, old now, but a great modern example, modern-ish example of the greatest...
Modern life example.
Let's just say it's one of the greatest point-and-click adventures of all time. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
Because it is.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
1998, just like Scott was talking about.
Yep.
Big year for video games, and this was one of them.
Yep. 98 was a big year. We're going to talk about Grim Fandango, its impact, its lasting effect, and also the versions you can play today. Turns out the remastered one is real damn good, and you should pick it up. We'll talk all about it. That's next time here on this show. Don't worry, Bubble Bobble coming, because I got way into Bubble Bobble this week, and it's your fault because I didn't even mention this.
Yeah.
Along with this, Brian also sent me one of those, what are they called? Arcade?
It's an Evercade,
Evercade.
and it is a Taito one, and it has the Taito games put on it, and Bubble Bobble is one of them.
And I played so much Bubble Bobble this week, so much of it.
Yeah.
I forgot how much I love that.
There's a big Bubble Bobble thing coming this next month, and so we're getting in preparation for it. And so we're going to hit it at the end of this month, and we'll roll right into all those exciting.
Yeah, it's a classic. I'm half prepared to say that it's the greatest thing that Taito ever did, and they did Space Invaders. I mean, they are responsible for a lot of important early games, but I think Bubble Bobble's pretty damn good.
Pretty good.
Pretty good. All right, that's it for that. Don't forget to support us on Patreon. We have 4 new patrons to mention this week. Brand new folks that joined us. Monaghan, I guess. Ross Franklin, Joshua Rail, and Peter Lepowski. All of these guys. Lepowski sounds like you're a hockey guy, like you play hockey.
Yeah, I know a couple of these people in the community. Yeah, thank you very much for your sub.
Yeah, you guys are awesome. You'll now know the benefits of having no commercials ever and pre-show content every week, plus other cool benefits like watching and hanging out with us and doing other things and getting bonus content. Sign up today and support your favorite retro show now at patreon.com/playretro. Brian, is there anything else you'd like to say to these people before we go?
Yeah, patron supporters, enjoy your pre-show talk where we talk about the Mr. FPGA clone coming up. They decided to call it Mr. Pie, and we decided to crap on it.
Yeah, we did. We crapped on it pretty hard. So see how hard we crapped on it, and see if you want to crap on it too. There's room for everyone. That's it for us. Go play something retro. We'll see you next time.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Yes. Get more at frogpants.com.
And a neighborhood crawling with punks.